TikTok actually got some things right for a change when it comes to budgeting, and we gotta talk about it. We're gonna hop right into something that's gonna be very relatable for everybody.
You'll just need to be more financially disciplined in order to reach your goals. So we're going to build a strict budget.
Good luck.
That was a weird answer, but okay. First things first. Do you have an emergency fund built up?
I mean, my sheer existence is an emergency fund. I don't know what that even means.
Okay, that was a very depressing answer. Let's take a step back. Budgeting is honestly a very simple equation. It's your income minus your expenses. So what is your current income?
$4,000 per month.
Okay, that's not bad. And how about your expenses?
Yeah, not bad.
$5,000 per month.
Okay, just going to do a little back of the napkin math here. 4,000 per month minus 5,000 per month is not good. Okay. Can we increase your income?
Oh yeah, sure. You want to try calling my boss?
No. Maybe let's start with your expenses. How can we reduce those?
Yeah, well, $2,000 of that per month is just for my rent, and then there's another $400 to $500 for my car, plus parking and gas, and then there's utilities, electric, internet, which winds up being another couple of $100, plus my phone bill and subscriptions and my gym membership. Then I have to buy food for myself, buy food for my dog, and this is all assuming that nothing goes wrong and I wind up getting sick and need to go to the doctor.
Got it. Okay, this is helpful. I do have a couple ideas here. So if we reduce your rent by moving in with 13 other roommates, then we cancel all of your subscriptions, sell your car, sell your dog, and if you don't eat anything or go anywhere or have any sort of life or do or love anything, I really feel like we can put a dent in these expenses.
That was 100% me from like 2023 for sure. Cars are honestly killing people right now, and combination with the cost of living, I think you really have to get those expenses down honestly as much as possible. Like my car, that thing has 90,000 plus miles on it, and I'm driving that thing until the wheels fall off. My wife has a nice car, about $350 a month for us, and even that, it actually makes me uncomfortable. I know that's like way less than the average, which is like $800 now, I think. So it's getting crazy out there. Roommates, honestly, low-key, are a really good idea. I had roommates all throughout my 20s. I know it gets harder when you have a family, right? Like, who do I want in front of my child? And honestly, I would just bite the bullet and do it if you can, especially if you have a family and you've got in-laws, maybe want to shack up. I would do it. If my in-laws were closer than they are right now to me, I would honestly move in with them in a heartbeat because it's going to save me expenses and I can use that capital elsewhere for much more reasonable than trying to go $2,000, $3,000 to $4,000 for rent like some of the apartments are asking for. It's just crazy. So I feel like the market's almost influencing us to practice combined living, which has its ups and downs, right? We like our space, but at the same time, if we have to spend $4,000 a month on rent and we're only making $5,000, it's just really not feasible. And instead of asking for a raise from your boss, which honestly you're probably not going to get anyway, I would do what I did and just focus on building my value in the market and also starting a side gig. We've all got things that we're good at naturally, and it probably isn't directly related to our line of work. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you can work on that on the side, make some extra money instead of relying solely on your boss to give you a raise, because most of us are going to get a 3% raise if we're lucky, which is barely going to cover the cost of living. So if you think about that mathematically, if you get a 3% raise from your boss, but your expenses went up by 3% because of inflation, you didn't make any money.
Here's 60 seconds of budgeting advice I'd give my best friend if she wanted to get her finances together in 2026 and was starting from zero. Coming from someone who's been budgeting for 9 years and used budgeting to save over $100K on a lower income. First, you need to know your money before you grow your money. Start tracking your income and every single purchase you make on a daily basis. I know, it sucks, but I promise once you get in the habit, it will take a maximum of 5 minutes a day. So just do it even though it sucks. Once you've tracked your money consistently for a couple of weeks without even trying, you will start to see where you're leaking money. You will see where you are spending money in a way that isn't helpful or intentional. These things usually look like an extra $15 of impulse buys tacked onto a grocery store run, ordering Uber Eats because it's quote unquote easier when you could have just as easily bought a $10 frozen pizza at the grocery store to have for days when you're feeling exhausted. Or maybe it's taking Ubers instead of public transit because you're constantly running late. Whatever it is, now that you're aware, you can start making those lifestyle changes to get your spending under control and start working toward your financial goals.
So yeah, I'd have to say that tracking your purchases is 100% essential because they really do add up. Trust me, I know. Gas station's actually one of my big things that I have to watch myself on. We have a Wawa next to our house. I don't know if you guys have a Wawa where you're at, but Wawa is the bomb. But yeah, it gets expensive. It's like $4 for a protein bar. So that really, really does add up. And if you're going to the grocery store, one of the things that I do is I'm intentional about where I'm going. We have a Publix where I'm at, and so I know where Publix keeps the eggs. I know where Publix keeps, the bread. And if I'm going in for something, then my mind is on that one thing. Now, occasionally they'll switch things up in the store to make sure that you come back and, look at more things, and they try to get you to buy more stuff. But if that's the case, I just look at the sign. Okay, where they move the bread? I ask an employee, and I just focus on that. And Publix is famous for them BOGOs, so if your grocery store does stuff like that, they will get you. They get me still. kind of all the time. But you know what? If we go in there with an actual mindset of, okay, I'm going to get this, this, and this, I'm going to beeline to those locations, it really does help me personally make sure that I'm not spending any extra money than what I budgeted for.
Okay, y'all, this budgeting tip that I'm going to share with you changed me and my husband's life. First thing you need to do is you need to have 2 bank accounts. So you can have one that's your regular checking account and then another one that you're going to move money to. For easy math, we're going to say that your monthly bills are $2,000 a month. If you get paid weekly, then you'll divide 2,000, which is your total monthly bills, divided by 4. So 2,000 divided by 4 is $500. So that means that when you get paid every single week, you take $500 out immediately. I mean, as soon as you get paid, you don't do anything else. You immediately take $500 out of your regular checking and you put it into that other account that you created to hold money for you. You do that every week for 4 weeks, and then when the first of the month comes around, you have your $2,000 that you need to pay all of your bills on the first of the month.
Mm-hmm.
If you get paid bi-weekly, then you would just take that $2,000 and divide it by 2, and then every paycheck take that amount out and put it into your other account.
So I think this method works good for people that really like self-control and or don't have a budget set up. I 100% agree that having 2 accounts is definitely the move. I actually have 3 bank accounts. I've got a checkings, a personal savings, and then of course a business checking account. And if you're finding that you're running out of money towards the end of the month, and then stacking some money away each paycheck is going to ensure that you put a system of checks and balances on yourself to make sure that you're keeping yourself in check. And there's no shame in that. I had to do that again a bunch in my 20s as I was learning to develop a habit of being disciplined with my finances. I do a modified version of this right now, and it works great for me, and it's part of why I continue to be successful, in my opinion. So give it a shot if you're not doing it already.
As the friend who other friends come to for financial advice, here's a speed run of the top 4 tips that have saved me and my friends both hundreds and thousands of dollars. None of these tips involve stopping spending on coffee or dramatically cutting your expenses. Tip number 1, use Free Tax USA instead of TurboTax if you do your own taxes. TurboTax is way more expensive, and Free Tax USA is easier to use, in my opinion. Tip number 2, put your savings in a high-yield savings account. It doesn't matter exactly what bank you choose for your high-yield savings account. It just has to be easy for you to open and access online and or in person, and it cannot be Wells Fargo or Bank of America because those banks are garbage. If your money's in a high-yield savings account, it's going to make you more money because there is an increased interest rate. I make hundreds of dollars every year by doing nothing except for keeping my money in this savings account. Tip number 3, open a brokerage account, and if eligible, open a Roth IRA. If your money's in a brokerage account, it will make you even more money over time. You can reliably expect a 7 to 10% interest rate if your money is invested and held for a long time. Tip number 4, track your spending, savings, income, etc. using an app like Rocket Money or YNAB. Tracking everything on a spreadsheet by yourself also works, but it is very tedious and often misses things. Whereas if you have an app like Rocket Money, it can link all of your bank accounts, all of your credit cards, all of your savings accounts, investments accounts, everything, and can help you track your income, your monthly budget and spending, but also things like your credit score and your net worth.
So shout out to all my nerds out there who use a spreadsheet like I do. I love spreadsheets. So for me, I'd rather use a spreadsheet than Rocket Money because I like to be very, very hands-on on my finances. I don't need an app to tell me that I have extra subscriptions because I'm very diligent about it. But for others who either don't want to take the time to make a spreadsheet or they just find themselves really messing up on subscriptions, forgetting when subscriptions are due and stuff like that, then yeah, I'm all for it. Touch note on the Roth IRA. If you expect to have less income as you're older, do a 401k normal, and if you expect to have a higher tax bracket when you're older, and it's recommended to do a Roth so you pay your taxes up front. Again, verify that. I'm not your CPA. And as far as taxes go, it's going to be situation dependent. If you run a business like I do, then I'd probably recommend you paying for a CPA so that you're maximizing your write-offs. And plus, it saves you a lot of time, and your time is valuable, and you invest that back into your business. And as far as the high yield savings accounts you mentioned, I agree, but I would say with this modification, this is just me personally, again, do your own research. I would put 1 to 2K in a liquid savings account. I would put 10 to 15K in a high yield savings account, and that makes up your emergency fund. You have 1 to 2K like that, and you have the rest of it making about 4 to 5% in a high yield savings account that you're not touching unless for emergencies. And then any extra money you want to save, you're going to want to put that into the market, whether that's in stocks, in ETFs. You do what you want to do. I am not going to tell you what to do because you're responsible for yourself. You're an adult. At the end of the day, if you're freeing up more money to make closer to 8%, which is the average for the S&P, versus the 4 to 5% in a high yield savings account, I think that's probably going to be the best bet for most people. Again, I'm an advisor to tell you which funds to put your money in. I was actually pleasantly surprised with these tips, and I'm glad to see TikTok actually putting out some decent information for a change.